Hi all. Right, got we're on to Allied Impulse. A slight dilemma here, because of the mistakes and the redoing of everything. And I said I was going to play my last two cards, um, as I had done. Now I did with the first card that was moving the unit down into Bastogne. Um, and this last card was activating fifth core. Now, what I done here was kind of clumsy. I think there was the thing is the situation has changed, so I'm clearly going to do something different. But I know the next card's coming up. This is the thing, so I'm not wanting to you know, yeah, I didn't want to get myself in this position. But what it was an allied unit, a German unit had moved into here, and then I was like gutted because I thought, oh, and the reason to put them there was part of the reason was to drop either one of them or two of them into Trois Ponts to protect that. And with this German unit here, I couldn't do that. So what I did was I dropped them both over the water there, which was a silly move because it then meant that these units could just move in there. Whereas if they're there, then these units can't move in, you know. So it was, I mean, fair enough, maybe drop one of them over. But my idea was to try and get to Trois Ponts before they did. Well, you'll see what cards come up, so you'll see what's going to happen. So yeah, the fact I know the cards that are coming up, but what I can say, the other one was I moved this unit into Spa, I think, and this unit was here, so I actually had to strategically move it right round, like that, because the unit was here. But my concern was that this unit was proximate to both Spa and Trois Ponts, so I was trying to cover them. So all I can do is try and look at that, I suppose. Now, so there is units proximate to Trois Ponts, so I'm definitely going to move a unit in there to protect it. Now, there's not a unit proximate to Spa now, so I can kind of ignore that. I mean, yeah, this is difficult. I mean, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, that can't. But this unit could go 1, 2, 3 into Hutton, La Roche. But Ufe, I could maybe protect Ufe. Strategic movement going 1, 2, 3. Remember, they get triple the movement, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could dash a unit along to Ufe, one into Trois Ponts. Could he reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? No, he can't quite reach that. So, yeah, it does feel a bit wrong. I mean, I'm only thinking, right, what German units are proximate to the hexes. I mean, right, I'll tell you now. The next card I'm drawing for the Germans is this, right? And when I drew it, I almost like thought, oh my gosh. I mean, the units were in a slightly different position here, but the unit was here. This is where the other mistake occurred, of course. But the unit was here, went into Trois Ponts. They got hot on, I think. So I know that card's coming. So the fact that I know that this unit might go to Ufe, but I think he'll actually go. I think he, in actual fact, he'll go to Houghton because it's closer to his army objective. I found that was the case. So these units can't come down and protect any of that. So I can't do that, even if I felt it was, okay to do that. So I'm going to do that. So it doesn't sit perfectly with me, I know, but I'm going to strategically move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into Ufe. I mean, because this unit is proximate to Ufe. I mean, he can stroll in there and gain 5 victory points, that this unit wasn't here before, so I wasn't able to do what I've just done. And then the other one is, well, I wonder if I should move that one as well and just move this unit back to, oh yeah, that was the other thing, these units were disrupted, by the way. up here. Is that on camera? The units under there were disrupted. I forgot to put the disruption back. Dispersed. I forgot to put the marker back. But they would clear their dispersed marker after. That was the other part of the reason I played that card. Okay, so I could strategically move this unit 1, 2, 3, 4 into Twapong. Just wonder if I should move them both anyway. Now, I think moving these units as far west as I can, because they're running through the middle here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put him in there too. Right, sorry, I got distracted. I think I'd moved the other unit into here as well, didn't I? I was thinking I could push them on. Where he was here, wasn't he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could have pushed it on our couple of hexes, or even come down into this town, but I think I'll just leave it there. I feel a wee bit like, it feels a little bit awkward doing this, because this is not, but it's not how the Germans had left it when I played it before, so I feel it's reasonably fair to cover the victory point times that I can cover that unit. I mean, it's not just the 58th Corps that's proximate to this. You know, the 47th are proximate to that. Okay, it is to that one, but I'm only doing maybe what I would have done. You know, yeah. Okay, I know it doesn't feel perfect. And the last part of the activation, like I say, these units had been dispersed, so the dispersal would be removed. So yeah, all this doesn't sit perfectly with me, but we need to get moving, and I was in a bit of a rut there, kind of stalled and didn't know what I was going to do next. Right, that's that on that. Okay. Right, so let's get that's us out of cards now, so let's get the next Allied impulse, German impulse. Okay, here we go. So, like I showed you when I turned that up before, I mean, it is bad, isn't it? I mean, I would have known, I should have known it was coming if I'd looked through the cards, because I generally don't like to do that. Okay, so that's the primary, so that would be like that would be like that. So, and then there's one card left in the draw pile for the Germans. So we've got another event on this card, and it's Bridge Engineers again. So come across and have a look. Okay, try and make this pretty quick. None of these bridges can be repaired because there's Allied zone of control across them. The next option would be, if no destroyed bridges are eligible, check for an unbridged river hex side eligible for bridge building. And it's eligible if it would allow German units unable to trace supply to do so. And that's not the case. There's not any issues with Germans tracing supply at the moment anyway, with or without bridges being built and things like that. So, if no hex sites are eligible for bridge repair or construction, the event is not implemented. And it states that when you can't activate the event on the support card, it just goes back in the support card box. So it might be used as a combat tactic, it might be used as a second impulse. Okay, so then we go on to... Sorry, I cut things off. Then we go into the command card, and what do you know, it's 58 Corps again. So let's look at what's going to happen next. Okay, there's no roadblocks adjacent to any of the 58 Corps units. Now, because there has been a slight change in things, the way the units have moved, and also my Allied units moving up here, I'm going to re-roll for the army objective marker. There's units proximate to that, so it's going to move again. I'm going to re-roll this one. I had done it before and ended up in Dinan, so, but like I say, things have changed a little bit. Right, we've got an 8 there, so actually I think that might be the same. Where is it on Marche? Yeah, 7 to 9, Dinant West. So it's the same. But I don't think it's not terribly relevant anyway. Really, it's right adjacent to the Muse now. So alright, just off the camera there. So that's that. So now we're going to activate the 58th again. Okay, and this is where yet again I tried to move the units with special move 1C to enter an empty ally VP hex in ascending order rather than descending order, and this is where it all kind of blew up, and I noticed it, and this is what's caused all the trouble. Just need to be more careful, Grant. Okay, so in descending order, this unit can't. Oh, that's a lie. He can he? Well, this is where the restriction comes in though, because he can actually go 1, 2, 3, 4 into Houghton, or he could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into La Roche. I think that's his only two options, and he wouldn't have been able to reach Ufe if we had. He was just one short. It was this unit here that could. Trois Point he could have went to, but well, I think it was only fair that I covered that one. So the problem is though that 1C, a unit that begins its move in a VP hex to which ally supply can be traced will only move by this method if it can move to a VP hex of higher VP value. So he's in a 2, and ally supply can be traced to this hex. So he can only reach these two, and they're both 2s, so he's not actually going to move by that method. So we move on to the next highest option. Now we've got unit selector number 4 up here, but he's not got anywhere to go. So the next one would be selector number 3. So this guy here. So what multitude of places can he actually reach? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, he can't quite get down to St Hubert, but he can go to La Roche, or he can go to Houghton. I think that's his 2 options, isn't it? Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to reach Ufe anyway. It was only this guy. But it does kind of look like he's maybe going to go to Houghton. I think. Right. Well, let's see. Yeah, so if there's more than one, he's going to go to tiebreakers, isn't he? And then it's closest to army objective. So yeah, clearly Houghton's going to be closer to his army objective. But his route to get to Houghton is going to go through La Roche, isn't it? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just trying to see about 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's look at this rule again. Okay, a little bit stumped by this one. I feel like this might have cropped up before. Right, where were we again? We were moving in a descending order. Yeah, we're looking at this unit 3. Now, the thing is, he's wanting to get to this. He's wanting to get to Houghton, because that's closest to his army objective. But he's got 2 ways to get to Houghton. He could come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is, I think, the way we would all do it, because we're going to get to take La Roche, get a control marker, get the victory points, end up in Houghton. Or you could go this way and just get Houghton, and this is not. Now, if this is where maybe I'm missing something obvious here, but if he moves it this way and goes into Houghton, then it's more than likely this unit can reach La Roche. So he's going to then move with the same movement method into La Roche. Whereas if the unit moves this way through La Roche, takes control of it, and then into Houghton, this unit's going to do something different. I don't think he can reach Yeah, no, he's not going to be able to reach anything else, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah, he's just outside Rochfort, so I need to watch where I put the card there. It's like covering all the towns. So, yeah, I mean, it seems kind of obvious if you were doing it yourself, you would go through that way. So I'm trying to find some kind of tiebreaker for that. I mean, I feel like this must have came up before. Whether you use your own common sense here and say, well, look, this is clearly but this eye's pretty complete. It doesn't really leave you with these decisions to make yourself, you know, what's the better move. It doesn't really go down that road because it's pretty complete. So, I mean, the only thing, obviously I was starting to look for the most detachments I can put down. So it says like, beginning December 17th, each and every time a German unit moves or advances out of a hex with a printed hold value, leaving the hex vacant, place a detachment mark in the hold value hex. A detachment may be placed in a hex adjacent to an allied unit. Sorry. And then it says a German unit with more than one route to its destination. I mean, this is only talking about placing detachments, but it is giving you. It's the only thing I can find that talks about a different route, you know. A German unit with more than one route to its destination hex is considered to move along the route, passing through hold value hexes with the highest total value. Okay, and that other bit I just read, I need to remember that one. Do not place detachment markers on a map edge hex and hexes adjacent to map edge hex. I'm going to forget that one. But with that, I think this route is better because he's going through 2. I mean, this has got a detachment, but it doesn't state that. You know, it just says the route passing through hold value hexes with the highest total value. So that'd be 2, 4. I mean, even this where the unit is, that's another 3, 7. And then whether you count this at the end where he's and if it is, it's 12. And if he goes this way, it's 5, 10. So that indicates that he would go round that way, which something feels wrong about. Not the first time I've said that either. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to treat this one. I had a wee look on BGG, but yeah, surprised something like this hasn't come up before. Unless, of course, I'm missing something obvious, which isn't impossible. That's for sure. I went and posted the question up there because I couldn't find any, just to see rather than because whatever way I move it, if I move it this way, then this town's going to be taken. This unit's going to do something else. And if I move it that way, he's going to come into this town. So, you know, so the other unit's going to do something different. We're definitely going to get both the towns, which is pretty good, but and the victory points. But I'd just rather be sure. I mean, the way I see the rules, and I'm also, part of my question was, am I counting, right, the hold values of all the hexes that go into? I mean, that's all it does say. I mean, admittedly, you know, why I need to look more into that, I don't know, but, sorry, where are we here? Is considered to move along the route, passing through hold value hexes with the highest total value. So I mean, it doesn't sort of say you don't count this because there's a detachment in it already, and you don't count this because there's a unit in it. It doesn't say that. Just says the hold values, and that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, okay, maybe it's only 7. Maybe you don't count the ending one. That would be 7 that way, but it would only be 5 this way. So, going by how I read it, that would be the route, unless, like I say, I'm missing something. Well, I'm going to pause for a wee bit and see if I can get a reply to that, get some kind of confirmation before I move on. I'm kind of running out of time here anyway. Well, I could have done a little bit more. Could have probably finished this impulse off, but I'd rather wait and see if I get some reply, maybe some kind of, could be another dope moment. Grant, no, you do this. But okay, so I'll pause just now and see how we get on. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, back to the situation regarding which movement this unit is going to make, which route it's going to take. Is it going to go this way into Houghton? I mean, it's going to go to Houghton, but is it going to go this way or is it going to go that way? Because it is it's going to make other things. This unit is going to do things differently depending on what route it takes. Well, posted the question, haven't got any answer back. Martin must be busy. So I've not had any reply, and I would like to make a wee bit more progress just now. So it's got to come down to what I think, and although I think it should go this way, but that's my thinking. The rules as written that I can see is it's going to go that way. Well, the only other thing that popped into my head there was, I wonder if it means, it says a German unit with more than one route to its destination hex is considered to move along the route passing through hold value hexes with the highest total value. No, it says hold value hexes. I just wondered if it had meant the highest hold value hex, which that one's a 5, that's a 2, that's a 2, and that's a 3 maybe, But it says hold value hexes, the total value. So, yeah, I'm going to have to believe that the way the rules are written, and there's nothing else I can think about that says it would deviate this way instead because it's gaining more victory points. You would think I would probably know if there was a rule that says, if I can gather more victory points and go that way. So I'm going to have to just do it if I want to carry on just now. Whether we can rewind things if I do find out somebody does come back saying, no, rule such and such says this, I'm not sure. Well, as long as we don't make any attacks. It would have to come in pretty soon. Okay, so I'm going to say that he's going to go that way. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, before I start, yeah. That was one thing I meant to pick up on. The 58th Corps units are activated, and when they activate adjacent to a bridge, and there's no allied unit across from that bridge, they gain control of that bridge. So it's nice and simple for them, man. No bridge demo checks or roadblock checks. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so they gain the 2 bridges. I don't think there's any other units that would... No, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into Houghton. Now put some detachment markers from spaces we've left. And there as well. So into Houghton, gaining control of Houghton and grabbing 2 more victory points. Putting them up to 8. Yeah, okay. So now looking at Unit 2. So he's going to come down to La Roche. And yeah, oh no, it wasn't. yeah, the tiebreaker would have been to be nearer his army objective. So I'm pretty sure we looked at other options. I think it was only La Roche he can reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's just one shorter Rochefort, which would be closer to his army HQ. So he's going to go back the way now. Can he do anything fancy with that? No, there's nothing clever he can do, and it's the same thing. What route does he take, that way or that way? Well, even though he's not gaining any more detachments here, the way it's written says that that's the way he would go, because it's the most most total hold value hexes. So he leaves a detachment there. He moves into La Roche, taking control of that and gaining 2 more victory points. So up to 10. I think that's going to be the only 2 moves though, because if you look at the other 3 units, they've all got to preserve a restriction under 9.21. I mean, this guy moves anywhere at all. Allied supply is going to be traceable unless he moves. Yeah, no, he can't move anywhere. Any hex he moves into, Allied supply is going to be traceable at that hex. So that would be breaking the restriction. It's the same situation with this guy, that supply is going to be traceable to this town, which we've seen already in the last impulse that they activated. And then the infantry unit up here is causing this unit to be surrounded. So I think that means they're kind of tied up to the positions. I mean, I moved right through there. I moved on to movement methods 10 to 13, but movement arrows, closer to army objective, and then infiltrate or move adjacent to an allied unit. All the things are going to break the restrictions that these guys are holding down, you know. So I don't think they can do anything. So, well, that's quite good. That would maybe let me move on a bit and give a bit more time for somebody to come and tell me that I've got this correct. Because I could probably reverse that if I did hear that there was something that told me otherwise. I will need to make a check again here, because there could be a combat here. He's still adjacent. But that's only units adjacent to an allied unit. So it'd be the same again. It's 4 against 2, but he gets a +1 for being... so it's 4 against 3, so it is a 1-to-1. So we can roll the dice again. Did we get that there? Just about. Hang on, come back a little bit. Okay, so 1-to-1, there was no... It's an 8, so pretty unlikely. There was no modifiers, was there? No. No, there was no modifiers. I'm just looking at the combat tactics, press the attack, right? That's not applicable, because that just adds the support cards combat tactics, press the attack, which only adds a chip pool, so you're not allowed to count that within the modifiers. So an 8 is if it's less than 3-1, you cancel it. So yeah, they're not going to go ahead with that. It was probably quite unlikely and probably not the right thing to do. Okay, yeah, so well, they're up to, what did I say, 10 victory points. So I think that's impulse over. Now remember, we've still got, because we weren't able to carry out this event, we are going to have this as a second impulse, so that moves across to the command card. I'll clean the other things up, and we'll get that impulse in as well. We've still got one card in the draw pile, but we'll see. Okay, so we're going to activate 85th Corps, as this was a support card and now it's a second impulse. There's no roadblocks adjacent. Now their army objective is down here, just at the bottom of the camera there. So there's not a German unit proximate and there's not a German unit within 2. So it's going to stay where it is. So just going to have to look at, see if they're going to move about. Okay, first movement method I can find is movement method 3, which is cause surround. And it's not actually, this unit here is surrounded. But actually now here's this issue as well. Okay, well this might be good to come up now because right, this unit is surrounded. He's got zone of controls all around him. So there's not a move to cause surround, but there's 2 bullets. The first bullet within it is a German unit already causing an allied unit to be surrounded, but that is not in a hex adjacent to that allied unit, moves adjacent if possible. And then if able to reach more than one hex, it would surround the unit, move to the hex that would prevent the allied unit from tracing supply if able. Then you've also got to consider that 9.24 will come in if you're moving adjacent, so you've got to take that into consideration. So yeah, I've found something else that's kind of cropped up here, which is good, I suppose, because this was a bit of a this turned into a bit of a headache. I mean, I've told you, I know what the last card is, and because of my mistake, I had to go show this. It's not really affecting this bit down here. It shouldn't affect anything, but you'll see it. But it caused me a bit of a headache too. But this actually, I've just realised, is bringing up the same question. Now, I'd asked this question, whether it was about a year ago or not. Martin had an answer. John Brown also had a bit of an answer too, but I don't think he quite grasped the question I was asking. He thought it was slightly different, but then he did have some thoughts about it all. I'll maybe bring the question up. Okay, so yeah, I found my question, but we'll just so yeah. This unit is causing this unit to be surrounded, and part of the first bullet is a German unit already causing an allied unit to be surrounded, but it is not adjacent, moves adjacent if possible, right? Now, this unit here, he can't just move to there because he's zone of control, but he could go 1, 2, because he's breaking zone of control, 3 into there, then he's adjacent. So he is definitely causing this unit to be surrounded. But here's the thing, see this armoured unit here? This armoured unit has a zone of control in here and in here. And that, arguably, is keeping this unit surrounded too. I say arguably because it would mean that these units not being there and this unit not being in that hex anyway, to be able to him solely, he's zone of control in this hex and this hex, which is sort of keeping this guy surrounded. But I could see an argument both ways for that, to say that, well, he's not really. If you move him out of the equation, the guy's still surrounded. And this, I think, was where my where I started going with my question. I mean, my question was that that multiple units are causing an allied unit to be surrounded. Do I consider them all in descending order to move adjacent to the allied unit, even though other German units may be causing this round also? And then the first answer I got back was from Martin. He said, you consider all active units in descending order, yes. All that can do so should move adjacent to the surrounded unit. So right off what he's saying there is, this unit is considering this unit to causing this unit surrounded. So he should try and become adjacent, and so should he. And if we're going in descending order, this is a unit we would be moving first. John Brown said a picture would help, but he initially thinks that we're talking about surrounding this unit, not, and I think Martin picks up on that. And then there's a bit to the thread actually. The last bit I posted, which was the finish of the thread, I said, just came across this while browsing the rules again. The 9.3 German activation terminology, cause surround. A German unit is said to be causing surround if the unit's removal from a given hex would cause a currently surrounded allied unit to become unsurrounded. So this is where I started thinking, and maybe this is me going into it too deep and thinking about it, but I mean, that does say there, cause surround, and then its explanation of it as a German unit is said to be causing surround if the unit's removal from a given hex would cause a currently surrounded allied unit to become unsurrounded. So that could then mean that if this unit moves away, this unit is still surrounded. So that's saying that this unit isn't causing surround. But then on saying that, if you take, you could say that about all these units, couldn't you? That if they were out of the way, they wouldn't be causing surround because this unit's got it covered. So, my comment after that is, if there are multiple units placing a hex under enemy control and keeping a unit surrounded, then the removal of any of these units would not cause the currently surrounded unit to become unsurrounded. If this was to affect movement method 3, however, none of the units would move adjacent. And then I come to the conclusion that I think Martin's logical thinking is correct. I mean, it does seem like you would want to, get this unit surrounded and, get a good attack on them, I suppose. How can you decide which of these units is causing the surround? I suppose you've got to, this is maybe when the AI can't go that deep into it, and you've just got to say that they're all causing this unit to be surrounded. I think so. I mean, definitely the removal of this unit, then this unit wouldn't be surrounded. So he's a definite. But there is an argument for these. If I take all three of these out of the equation, this unit is still going to be surrounded. Or if I don't do that and take this unit out of the equation, that unit is still going to be surrounded. So how do you work that one out? And the thing is, this comes up in the next part when we activate the last card. Well, actually, assuming we do. I suppose things could. Well, no, because I wasn't going to change things here because this is all going to be the same. I'm not going to change it in here. So the Germans are going to have one more impulse, and it was the one that I was getting frustrated. I thought it just didn't look right. It didn't look right about all the units trying to move in adjacent to the unit because it just, something felt a bit off about it. So, to be honest, I ended the video that I'd done previously asking for help with that part too, to just confirm that I was doing it right. But it's again, if you look rules as written, it does seem to say that this is how it should be. This unit should move adjacent, and then this unit should move adjacent if it can, because they're not already adjacent. You know. So, well, you know what? Let's put this together, and this will be able to be the question will be able to be asked now rather than moving on to that last German impulse, and we can see. Oh, right, yeah. There could be a difference though, because I didn't notice this unit be wanting to come adjacent, so I might actually be rolling a dice. Oh dear. Right. Okay. So descending order. So this unit, we are saying, is causing this unit to be surrounded. Wants to move adjacent to it. It can't move there because that's fully stacked. It can't get up and around. The only hex it can go to is here. So yeah, I think that's going to happen. Now, going by how I'm looking at it, I think this is also going to happen. He's going to go 1, 2, breaking zone of control. Oh, that's going to be 6. Oh, you know what? That's not going to change anything then. Okay. It's not. Because what happened before, it was one of these units came in. So, yeah, that's fine. And there was slight concern about, is this unit, you know, it's moving away from a Westwall hex, but Allied supply can't be traced across here. There's not a road. The road stops here. It doesn't go into Beaufort. Which if it did, then Allied supply would be traceable to that hex once across there and then away. But it can't cross to here because the zone of control. So it's fine that unit moving out of there. Yeah. Okay, so that's the 2 units moved with method 3. So next method, well, these are all infantry units, so there is a chance that they'll move with some of the infantry moves. So I'll have a look. Okay, so yeah, none of the infantry moves are actually applicable here where the 3 units are. They're not able to do any of them. So movement methods 10 to 13. So 10 is follow movement arrows, and yeah, I wouldn't have thought things could happen here, but the primary arrow is that way, and it's only there if there's a good bridge, which there's not. But there's actually a secondary arrow across the unbridged river here. So I think this guy takes it. He's ascending order. Obviously, he's the first one. So he's going to take that move. That expends all his movement. He's following an arrow. He's expending all his movement. And that's that. He can't do any more. I'm just looking at extended move there. It doesn't mention any of that. But it obviously can't continue. It's got to spend all its movement. Oh no, it's not on a road, of course. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, that's got me thinking there. There must be something to stop this. This unit spent its full movement allowance by crossing this unbridged river. An extended move says a unit that is not adjacent to an allied unit upon expending its full movement allowance per method 10 continues moving in the direction indicated by movement arrows, which would suggest that you could actually move into here, but that certainly doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, I don't know if that's a slight glitch. It says a unit must spend its entire movement allowance to cross an unbridged river hex side. That is, the unit must start its move in a hex bordering the river hex side to be crossed and end its move upon entering the adjacent hex across the river hex side, so it must end its move. Yeah, I'm not going to try and move this unit any further, but I must admit, I can't see anything, so maybe somebody can point out the dope moment that's going to that's going to say that obviously that can't move any further to me, because yeah, something that certainly doesn't feel right to be able to move him any further, but I'm not going to. Okay, so unit number 6, and here's where things get tricky. So he could do the same, but we can only cross this. Only one unit can cross a given unbridged river hex side. You know, if I was coming through here, I could cross that one because that's a different hex side, but that's the same hex side. So can't do that. So I can't follow movement arrows with that unit. So can I move closer to his army objective? Well, yeah, what happened was this was the unit that moved in here before, because I hadn't noticed that. And this unit had went 1, 2, and then 3, and then it's closer to its army objective, and it's also carrying out the 3 to 1. But unfortunately now there's a full 6 steps in there, so he can't move into there. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this hex here is 1 hex closer to his army objective. I think that's the only hex he could get to, so I think he's going to do that. So it's 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then 3 into there. And he's 1 hex closer. He can't get adjacent to. Yeah, no, that's right. He's not adjacent to an allied unit. Right, that's right. Okay, so the last unit. Well, he might actually do the same, yeah. So there's just no restrictions being broken. Moving away. The only thing is I'm moving away from this guy. You know, you wonder if it's one of the ones you wouldn't do that yourself. You know. Yeah, no, I do think this unit's going to do the same. 1, 2, 3. So, alright, I might have missed another detachment as well. I've just noticed one would be dropped there, but this unit moved out here, didn't it? So yeah, there should be another one in there. Okay, I think that's the movement, and well, actually, does this? Yeah, it would still be 1-to-1, wouldn't it? Well, I don't really want to do this dice roll, because this is a dice roll I've done before, and then rather than spoil the last card, I don't want a different result coming up. Well, that's where I put myself. So, I mean, it is quite unlikely that we would get. I mean, we're coming from 1 hex. I mean, what could be the? Should I just roll a dice? Because it's going to be 1-to-1, is it? It's 7 across the river, which is half to 3. So 3 to 3. Yeah, I mean, there's no modifiers either, so the only dice roll would be a 1, which is cancel if only defender elite or only defender armor. But I did do this dice roll, and in fact, did I not have 2-to-1? No, I couldn't have. I couldn't have had. So it was 8 strength I had, half to 4. So yeah, it was still 1-to-1. Okay, let's keep it fair and we'll roll the dice. Okay, we've got an 8, so that's not going to happen. No, that's good, because it's just it would have affected the last card, you know, and well, yeah. I suppose there was a slight difference. Well, it was less strength that they had in that. Okay, right, that's it. That's that impulse over. So we're going to put that away. We're going to tidy things up. I'm going to pause this, and I'm probably going to upload this as the next part and just keep the last card, because well, I know what it is and there's enough to look at. So we'll keep the last card and then finish off the day with the next part. And plus, it will give me a chance that if somebody comes back, well, I'd like to know two things. I'd like to know anybody's thoughts on, in particular, that armoured unit making that move adjacent. Do you feel that was right, that it was causing a surround even though there was units here? And I could understand the infantry unit, because if it moved away this unit wouldn't have been surrounded, but I'm just not so sure about the armoured unit, and that leads on to the next impulse, to be honest. And then obviously the other one which I posted the question to was which route this unit should have taken, because if it should have went that way, then this unit would maybe be somewhere else. But we could fix that. There's not been, if somebody comes back and points to me the rule that it's at, then I'd be happy to change that about, because I want to keep things by the rules, as this whole video's had to be redone again to try and make it right. And I know there's a couple of sort of bits where some of you might think, that's a bit odd to be doing that, Grant, because you know what the card that is, and I don't feel great about that. I tried to put my mind in a place that was said I need to protect the VP hexes. Maybe that's all I can come up with. Take it that way. Okay, so I'll leave that just now, and we'll come back for the last German impulse, and we'll finish up the day, because there's a bit to look into regarding the detachment stuff and things like that. Okay guys, cheers for now.